Hey kittens, it's the kind kitten here. Hello! And I'm showing you another nether build today that I did, and this is the Basalt Delta Piglin village. And I'm really grateful to all of your support on the Warped Forest Piglin village that I did before, so thank you very much for that. So I thought, why not make another one in the meantime? So this one, the difference is the piglins of this village. You have to use your imagination because, again, like the warped forest, piglin don't naturally spawn in the basalt deltas. So this again is using a lot of imagination. But well, what else would you do in Minecraft? So similar to the warped forest, they sort of, I guess, tame striders in this one and ride them into this entrance bit. And like with the warped the piglin of this village have made some sort of docking bay. And also bear in mind you can see slimes around, so I kind of imagined, similar to the iron golem of a normal village, that if you attacked any of the piglin in this village, then you would also get swarmed by their protectors, which in this case are the magma cubes. So they land here, and I guess the striders just hang about nearby. And you can see, unlike the warped village piglins, these ones are a lot more. I guess you could almost describe this almost like a stronghold. They're a lot more defensively focused, in that instead of trying to start a fight, they're just going to hole up and escape from one, if possible. And you can see there's sort of, I used a lot of inspiration from the colours of these magma cubes. There's a lot of red and orange around, and again, for things like this that are blocks of coal, you'll just have to imagine that it is another nether block which is darker, because currently there isn't one that's that black except for the block of coal. So I took some inspiration from Doom 2016. There's lots of I tried to go for scary faces in the walls. This is kind of the best you can do on a small scale in Minecraft. Again, if I had voxel sniper, I could probably have done a lot better looking ones. You've got these wall torches that I've done before, and if I ever make a custom nether fortress again, I'll be using a lot of this design in them. And you can see I sort of wanted the defensive wall to look mostly perfect, but kind of similar to Doom, like I didn't want it to look completely perfect, so you've still got indents. You've got these little holes here, which I'll explain later. They're sort of peepholes that the piglins with crossbows stand guard and see if there's any intruders, and if they do, they will fire at them. But then they've got quite a view to see them, so it's not like anyone's going to be sneaking up. And also over here you have a little watchtower that you can get up to from this way. Again, I haven't made a proper entrance to it. And this watchtower here also blends very nicely in with the surrounding environment. Like, if I was down here, your eye wouldn't really be drawn to that spot at all. And as well as this super high wall, they have these huge gates, which they can just close if they really need to. If there's any intruders, they will just close the gates. And also you can see little bridges like this, which they can actually fire from as well, or just warn each other. And if you go through here, also there's another little face in the wall. You can see that there's also a lot of floating torches up here. So basically, yeah, they'd go into here and hide in their houses. And I wasn't quite sure what style of house I was going for in this one, and I was discussing it with the Puka, like, originally, and he said, well, if because I thought, well, for the other ones, the Piglin village in the Warped Warp Forest has got inspiration from peering through when they go through portals and seeing overworld village houses. And I thought, well, what inspiration could they get for the houses in the Basalt Deltas? And he said, what about igloos? And I thought that was actually a really good idea. So you can see that's why these houses here are sort of a little bit rounded. And also he said, oh boy, they look like they're sort of joined to this, so they look like they're propping up that ceiling, which admittedly that was a complete accident, but I sort of went with that later on. You'll see, like, from the top of the houses now, they kind of, well, they are supporting the upper bits like that, and they're designed like pillars. So you go up this way, and you can see, like, they've taken inspiration from the overworld in that, you know, oh, you can still walk up this. It's got like pathways and that, but I didn't want them to seem too intelligent. So obviously, it's kind of neat, but kind of a mess at the same time. Because originally I thought, oh well, maybe the Piglin are just like super intelligent. And then I thought, well, if they were, you'd think they'd... Well, I was going to say go through and control, like try and take over the overworld. But then I guess currently in Minecraft, it's the whole thing where if they go in the overworld for too long, they transform into zombie Piglin, which is not quite the law I had. I had they would go into the overworld and not transform into a zombie Piglin, but be very distressed and try and get back in the portal as soon as possible. And in my law, the only time they... Actually, I suppose that would still work, because that would explain why they wouldn't want to take over the overworld, because they just really want to get back because they don't like the climate. But so in my one, the only way they will turn into the zombified Piglin are if they are in the overworld, someone was to capture them and get them attacked by a zombie, or if they just came into the overworld at night time and a zombie attacked them, which would then transform them into the zombified Piglin. But you can see, although I had a good idea of what to do for these, like, so you've got the igloo-esque star houses, and I thought, well, it'd look really cool if they were like, if the Piglin intentionally designed them like pillars that were, you know, supporting the ceiling. But then I didn't quite know what to do for the interiors, but I can always figure that out later on. And also, someone said originally, I think when I showed them, like, oh, why don't you put like lava pools in and things like that? And obviously I understood that the Piglins like heat, but I thought it wouldn't make entire sense for them to put lava pools in their own town, because then if they stepped in them, they would die. So I sort of compromised by putting little lava pools at the side and doing alternative forms of lighting in the center. So similar to other villages I've made, the Crimson one, for example, which I'll show in the future, this one has like a big gold stash, which is protected by basalt spikes. If I had enough room, I'd sort of try and make that look maybe like a little scary face above, but this was the best I could do with the limited space. And also, if you're wondering why I'm using netherrack for the path, it's because when I went in the biome in the first place, there were parts of netherrack down there, and I thought, you know what, I could include them. It fits the colour scheme anyway, and ironically makes it match up with the colours of the magma cubes. I'm not sure Mojang got inspiration, you know, of the materials to use in this biome from the magma slimes, but... Sorry, not the magma slimes, the magma cubes, but I thought, you know what, I'll just go with that colour scheme and it'll look nice. Similar to this. So, for example, Crimson Nylium is only in the Crimson Forest, but I thought it's not beyond the bounds of imagination that the Basalt Delta villagers could have just gone round the Nether and thought, oh, you know, this actually looks really nice and it fits in with the colour scheme, and just gone back to the Delta village and, well, put in the ground basically. And also I kind of thought, you know, it's a bit too grey up here, I'm going to put some red in, and I thought that was a suitable compromise. The other thing you'll see here is there are such thing as soulfire lanterns, or soul lanterns as they're called now. There is no red lantern equivalent, so I thought just for the time being I'll just use the normal lanterns. The other thing about this village, it's very different from the other two, is that, as mentioned before, I've sort of said, oh, when people are attacking, they've got like a really good view out these little spy holes in the side of the main wall. But the thing about every house in this village, or eventually, I haven't quite made it yet, is that the piglins sleep here. However, every house eventually will be interconnected with an underground tunnel, and they will all link up. So that meant, for example, if someone on upstairs saw an intruder, they would sound a horn, and all of the piglin would go in these underground tunnels and go all the way through until they got to these windows, and there would be like some on the other side, and you know, some could go on the bridge, and then just shoot the intruders as they try to enter. And you can see I've done like little glowstone lightings. I could have stuck with lava the whole way through, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to vary it a little bit. Also because there are glowstone pockets, well, not, how would you call them, overhanging glowstone in the Nether. And you can see that little, because the basalt deltas in general have these little, they're almost designed like a bit like just small platforms, and I thought, how could they possibly get across, because they couldn't rely on striders all the times. And then I thought, well, this is how they can just use bridges and get across. And you can see I've done a little bit of underground lighting there. So I'm going to quickly go up here, and you can see that I've sort of, they do have steps, but similar to other places, it's like they've copied things from the overworld, but not entirely. So it's not as neat and tidy as the overworld. So here, for example, they have steps per se, but they don't have like the super neat steps we have in the overworld. Also because I thought I didn't really want to use the crimson stairs, and the redstone stairs are really bright red. Oh, also this is a variation on the house, and you can see like you do actually have some that go into the walls. But I thought the redstone stairs would be too bright, considering all these colours. You do have red, but in comparison this is a bit more of a muted red, whereas the redstone, not, why do I keep saying redstone? What am I thinking of stairs? The red nether brick stairs, basically, it's quite bright. And even if I had some sort of like muted red stairs, I don't want to use it here. As I've said, I want to make it look a little bit messy, as if they maybe have, they're just copying things from the overworld. They're a bit less intelligent to copy everything. So this is a very different from the other village, and as you can see, I said this one, the peaceful village, the warped warp one, is, they're not really focused on attack, they're not really focused on defense. They've got like small walls, they defend themselves if they need to, but they're not overly too fussed. This one is a bit more like the bastions, in that it's got like thick walls. You know, they'll shut the doors if they're attacked. And these ones are more focused on their defense, as you can see. Whereas, I'll let a little spoiler for the Crimson Piglin village, is a bit more, a bit less defended and has a lot more attack weapons, and they're a lot more focused on fighting and just like wanting to kill things, basically. So this was, and I'll quickly zoom up to these because I don't know if anyone got a good look. They're basically like giant flaming, I don't know, torches, I guess, sort of. And they're hanging from the ceiling, as you can see, to light up other places. I sort of did this because I thought if I'm not going to have lava flows everywhere, then I'll at least have some of this on the wall, some of this on the walls. Again, slight inspiration from Doom 2016, where you go to the hell in like certain places and there's like fire everywhere. Also, hold a minute. Whoops. Might need to fix that. Oh, just a second. There you go. But yes, this was the Kongering, and this is my interpretation of a Basalt Delta Piglin village. And yeah, if you have any suggestions below, or you want to say anything about this, please feel free to like and subscribe, and yeah, comment in, what am I saying? Comment in the comment section below is what I was trying to say. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and the next thing I will be doing is a Crimson Forest Piglin village, and possibly after that I might do the Bastion. Although I'm only kind of dreading that because it's got to be, if this was like, if each of these were hours of work, I can only think what the Bastion would be. But yeah, this is the Kongering, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!